What's so unsettling about the Mandela Effect? Look, I picture the cornucopia on the fruit of the loom label, too. The company swears it never existed. And the rich guy in Monopoly? Apparently, no monocle. Surely the queen in Snow White said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." No, it was magic mirror. And chartreuse isn't pink? Nope, it's green. What's concerning about the Mandela Effect isn't just that our brains play tricks on us, it's that so many of us misremember it the exact same way. No, this isn't about parallel universes or secret timeline resets. The Mandela Effect isn't proof that reality is broken or that we woke up in the wrong timeline. Our brains don't store perfect recordings of the past. They store impressions, shortcuts, stories. And when we grow up watching the same movies, seeing the same brands, hearing the same phrases, we don't just remember individually, we remember together. Which means when memory fills in the gaps, it often fills them in the same way. And there's another layer to this, reinforcement. Because we don't just remember things once, or even misremember them casually at the dinner table. We hear them repeated in jokes, in memes, in commercials, in other media. Take one of the most famous movie lines of all time. "Luke, I am your father." That's not the line. In Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader actually says, "No, I am your father." But "Luke, I am your father" gets quoted endlessly. It shows up in The Simpsons, in Tommy Boy. It works because it captures the scene out of context, like a mental shortcut. So it spreads. And eventually, the quotation becomes more recent and familiar than the original moment itself. At that point, memory isn't just personal anymore, it's communal. We're not misremembering alone. We're remembering what culture keeps repeating back to us. So the Mandela Effect isn't really about being wrong. It's about realizing how much of what we call memory lives outside of us, in stories, in repetition, in shared culture. We don't just remember the past, we remember the version of it that keeps getting told. And most of the time that's harmless, comforting even. Nostalgia has a way of smoothing the edges. But every once in a while, you notice the seam. Our earlier examples were relatively harmless. A movie quote or an underwear label probably won't change your life. But psychologists already know that confirmation bias can make people cling more tightly to false memories and consciously or unconsciously dismiss doubts. Research on false memory shows that people don't misremember events at random. In one study, linked in the description, as many as a third of participants reported remembering events that never actually happened, especially when those events aligned with their existing beliefs. In other words, expectations didn't just shape opinions, they shaped memory itself, making fabricated information feel subjectively real. That's why memory matters beyond trivia. People who shape narratives for a living, political strategists, lawyers, advertisers, understand that memory is reconstructive, not fixed. And now that you know that too, the goal isn't to distrust everything. It's just to pause, to be a little more cautious about what feels unquestionably true, and a little more willing to double check before certainty sets in. Something you are sure of isn't quite right. And that's the unsettling part. Not that memory fails, but that it fails together. Like we're all standing in the same room, remembering the same thing that never actually happened. And once you notice that, it's hard not to wonder what else we're quietly filling in without realizing it. If this video entertained you, or maybe even made you question something you were sure of, I hope you'll subscribe. Not to explore a wrong timeline, but this timeline we all share. Take care.